This is a Clearview podcast.
Welcome back to Carpe Mañana, the show where we talk about how to capture tomorrow today. We are so excited about a very special episode of Carpe Mañana. We've got a lot of fun stuff planned, but first we're going to go around and introduce ourselves so you know who your hosts are.
I'm Dr. Abaddon Shaw.
I'm Kelsey McKeel.
I'm Rebecca Shaw.
I am John Galantis.
I'm David Williamson.
And I am Ryan Hill. And right at the start of the episode, we want to say Happy Tuesday to
Happy
everybody.
Tuesday!
It's 2/22. 22.
And in about 3 minutes.
Hold on. 3 minutes?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
my clock. How's your clock? I got 2:19.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yes. We got.
Do we want to blast through, or should we just wait? Should we just wait, or should we just blast through silly socks?
Let's just blast through silly socks.
Okay.
We got this, guys.
Straight up, I got Cheez-Its.
Cheez-Its.
I got Cheez-Its.
Show them
Very
that it's
nice.
actually Cheez-It
If
socks.
anybody was thinking that I might be cheating and just
You're
wearing some
cheesing.
diamonds, they're Cheez-Its.
You're
These
not
are branded
cheating, you're
socks.
cheesing.
Yeah, these are branded socks.
Very nice.
I'm trying to
I like
appeal
that.
to the judges. Girls love Cheez-Its. They love
No.
snacks.
I love
Wow.
So,
Okay.
Okay.
all right.
All right, next
What y'all
up.
I am wearing cop socks today.
that. Cop socks.
Oh,
nice. Very
yeah.
nice.
Nice.
No
Put your
specific-
big, put your
That's
big
cool.
wearing foot down. You got to put your now bring it up. No, put your foot.
Put it
Put
down.
your knee up.
Now bring it
Yeah,
up.
there you
There
go.
you go.
Thank you.
Police officers,
down.
nice.
And bring it back up.
Nice.
Cop socks.
Very nice.
Cool.
I have lobsters today.
Rock lobster.
Sock lobster.
Dun, dun, dun. Who won last week? David won.
David won last
Yeah,
week.
with
the
the Hulk
trophy.
or Scarlett Johansson. The Hulk.
It was because we kept dropping Scarlet.
That's right. That's
And,
right.
Yeah.
Poor Scarlet.
I like your lobsters.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Well, this is a mundane geometric
That's pretty-
figure.
Well, if we're going by John's rules, you can win with geometry.
You search
Geometry
the
is the
problem
silliest
I could have worn something more
I dropped the ball on
significant,
this.
but
Yes.
John dropped the
So
ball.
I was gonna wear those yesterday. I was gonna wear them today. So I wore them yesterday, and I took a picture. I sent them to Dr. Shaw. Said, "Hey, let's twin tomorrow." He said, "Got it." So I went to, but I wore them out yesterday. So I went to put them on again, and Ellie was like, "What do you think you're doing?" I was like, "I'm gonna wear these socks. I'm gonna twin with Dr. Shaw." She was like, "You wore them yesterday." I was like, "That's
See?
fine." She was like, "No, you're not doing
Wait,
that."
go
I have
There
them
you go.
ready.
Yeah. So I was like, she was like, "You're not wearing them 2 days in a row."
Ready.
I was
You
like,
left him hanging,
drop the
man.
ball.
I was like, "Ellie,
Yeah.
please." She was like, "You're not
Disappointed.
wearing the same socks 2 days in a row." I'm sorry.
Unbelievable.
But the thing is, I had to go pull them out of the dirty clothes hamper to disobey her. So I was like, am I going to do it?
Better not.
Better
So
not.
I get a handicap in this. It's just like golf, when you
That's
get
right.
a handicap.
That's
So
right.
I get a little extra points for that one.
Judges
I mean,
take that under
honestly-
consideration.
If we're going
Fair.
by the rules that John laid to cheat a win,
Yep.
then Dr. Shaw
I
wins.
think that's hands down.
I mean, I'm fine with
so
it.
you lose.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll
You lose because you're in rules.
that's fine.
So
You're-
congratulations, Dr.
Yeah,
Shaw.
Dr. Shaw.
Oh,
Yay!
Breaking news.
Also,
Congratulations.
I want to
Where's
add
my
on to the
crown?
celebration. It'll be 2:22 in 5, 4, 3, 2. Oh, my phone died. Sorry.
What?
I'm just kidding. Yay! It's 2:20. It's 2:22 on a Tuesday at 2:22:22. We will never be
Wow.
in this
Man,
moment
this
again.
moment. Wow.
Wow.
It's amazing.
A
Take it in,
moment filled
guys.
with twos.
Dr. Shaw, congratulations on your very first
you, thank
Silly
you.
Sock Champion win.
Especially
I'm-
with such a significant
It's this
part of
camera,
the
right?
this is the one.
Because I introduced myself to that camera.
Oh, really?
I'm like, hey, everybody.
Oh,
It's this
very
one.
nice.
Nice.
Very nice.
Lock the Socks champion. Congratulations.
I love it. How does it feel?
It's just, I just cannot describe it.
It's
You're
quite a day to win on. You wearing
That's it.
2 socks
I
Two
know.
socks,
socks on your 2
Tuesday.
feet.
That's
on
right.
on
Tuesday.
Tuesday on 2/22/22.
This has
That's
been
right.
At 2:22.
man.
at 22.
Wow.
We should all go out to
Amazing.
eat dinner at 2:20.
Okay.
Or Ruby
Okay.
Tuesday.
Or Ruby 2. I would not.
Well.
No. Sorry, it's not gonna happen.
Also,
Okay.
we have a surprise at the end.
We
that
do have a surprise
celebrates
at the end related to it being
to relating to the we have a
22.
special 2 related segment that we will only we may rename it later in the future, but it's only going to be, this is a very exclusive segment, so
Yes.
be sure to stick around to
one
the
of a
end.
kind. Make
First
sure you
time
stick
in
around
history.
to the end.
Only time.
Can we give a little hint on what this may be?
It involves my blanket.
It does. Don't spoil it, Rebecca. It involves her blanket, the number 2.
Oh gosh.
It's sort of it's sort of a
No, not like that.
it's sort of a show and tell type thing.
Yeah. Show and two.
Show and two and tell. John, do you have any fan mail for us today?
I do.
Do you have two fan mail letters
I
for us
only
today?
have one. I only have one. People have been slacking. I don't know if they think we're drowning in fan mail over here. I guess we are a little bit. But if you guys could be sending in those I was gonna say letters, but those emails, we would certainly appreciate that. But I do have one today.
I mean, if old school is your thing, you can send us some snail mail.
We'll take
You
it.
can hold it up
Absolutely.
and everything.
That's right.
I got one from Curtis L.
Curtis L.
Yeah, what do you think the L stands for?
Lobster for his socks.
Curtis Lobster.
Curtis Lobster.
We cannot get away from the food-related
Curtis
last
the
names.
Lobster.
Oh my gosh.
It's a title. It's less a name, more of a title.
Hey guys, I'm in a tank at a Red Lobster and I think I'm about to die. What should I do?
Curtis, I'm so sorry.
Crawl. That's
It's pretty short. It's pretty short. Hey guys, been listening to the podcast for a few years. Really love everything you guys are doing. You guys are an excellent example for our community. Keep up the good work, Curtis Lobster.
Thank
you, Curtis.
Thank
Curtis
you.
the Lobster.
Thank you. And be sure to keep sending those in, please.
Yes, absolutely. Send us those emails to carpemanana@clearviewbc.org. We love hearing from you guys. We've even opened it up to get some of your silly socks submissions. So make sure that you're sending in those pictures of silly socks. Maybe we'll interview you in the
I did
contest
get
for
one
Hot
picture of
Socks.
silly socks.
Did you really?
Yes, they were. I'm so sorry to whoever sent it in, but they were just not silly. They were black. They were black socks with a white Nike check mark on it. I can still put it on the Instagram for our first.
Well, thank you for the submission, but unfortunately that does not
Yeah.
make the cut.
Yeah.
But go for it. Go for
Go for it. I'll put it
Yeah,
on.
yeah, we'll
I'll
take
put
it.
it on
We'll
there.
There you go.
Thank you for sending it in.
And make sure you guys are sending those emails into carpemanana@clearviewbc.org. We might even feature your letter on the show.
Very cool.
You guys ready to dive into our topic for today?
Let's do it.
Okay. Guys, on today's episode of the show, we're talking about leadership, but not in the way that people often think. Typically, when people think about being a leader, it's this kind of like self-promoting, like I want to be the best version of myself. And there's some of that involved in being a leader, but leadership is really about inspiring others to step up and lead as well. There's this principle of leadership that we're going to dive into today. Dr. Shaw, I know leadership is something that's been on your mind and on your heart for a number of years, and it's something that we talk about often. Can you kick off this discussion with like what the goal of leadership is and how we should think about it?
Sure. Something I learned from following John Maxwell for all these years. I mean, I've been following him since the late 90s. It's a long time. But I've learned so much from him. And one of the things that I learned very early on from him was don't try to grow an organization. Grow the leaders. Grow people. And so that has been my goal with you guys here. And not just you guys, but also the other leaders in the various capacities in our church, is to help grow them. Have I done a great job at that? I would say most of the time, but not every time.
Yeah.
So I have to learn to keep that in mind. It's not about growing an organization, it's growing the people sitting in this room. If you grow them, the organization will automatically grow. Now, that is still just the first two propositions, because here comes the third one, which is I cannot grow you guys unless I grow myself. So that is the principle. I have to grow, and then I have to help you guys grow, and the growth of the organization is going to follow.
Yeah.
Now, take it backwards. So if the organization is not growing, it's because the leaders are not growing. It's because the person who is occupying the position of the leader is not growing. So that's pretty much how it breaks down. And it's a truth that is so freeing, so simple, isn't it? I mean, when you heard that, how did that feel?
Very, very simple. I mean, it's something that I feel like we should all kind of wrap our heads around, but it gets lost often.
Yeah, it's easy to grasp, but it's hard to implement. I remember specifically always thinking very passively about leadership because I never viewed myself as one, especially when I first started. It was always like leadership is something that people are born with. Even though that was never explicitly taught to me, it's just something that I always thought like people are naturally that way and people are not naturally that way. It never occurred to me that leadership is something that you cultivate and you grow, you work on, intentionally.
And that's why I don't just look at you guys as workers or people who are given certain tasks. How are you doing at your task? Oh, you're doing everything. Everything check mark, check. I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for, are you growing as a person? is there a mind shift that is happening? Are you thinking differently about your life, your past, your present, your future? When I see that, I know, okay, growth has happened. The organization is going to grow.
Yeah.
But I don't see that, and I hate to admit it, I feel pretty dejected. I get upset because I'm like, oh, you're still not growing.
And we're all not going to grow in the same way.
Right,
Some of us need to grow in other areas, and it'll look different for everybody.
right. But as long as we're growing the way we should, right, then I know everything else is going to come, fall into place.
Yeah,
I'm
we
not
don't want
worried
to be
about
the
that.
same person that we were a year ago.
Right.
Right.
Or 6 months ago.
Right. In how you think, where you come from, are you able to set aside that? Are you set aside your experiences in life and become a distinct person who is standing on his or her own 2 feet, thinking with the goal in mind, the vision in mind, a whole different set of values? All those things, are they coming? Are they happening?
Right.
When I see that, it's like, yes, everything else will fall in place. Or if you come break a bad news to me and say, no, this and this and this didn't work out. But if I notice in your demeanor, in your action, in your just your persona, I guess, that you are growing through this, I'm not that worried about it.
Yeah.
But if it's like the task didn't work out and you're not growing, then it's like, oh wow, so much work to be done here. Making sense?
Yeah, I kind of think about like what Rebecca said, like we all grow in different ways, because I know it's extremely cliche to think about it this way, but like a plant or a tree that grows, like you've got sprouts and branches, they all go off in like different ways, but they're part of the same plant and they're still growing up. You know what I mean? They're always going out, but they're growing together as one.
And God uses that
Right.
that analogy in the Bible. Jesus used that analogy, and he calls us the body of Christ.
Yeah.
Because some of us are hands, some of us are feet, and
Yeah.
so we're all supposed to grow in different ways. There's certain things that will all be the same. Like we need to be growing in our spiritual lives, but like in other ways it might be different here and there.
And I would say grow in the same direction.
Yeah.
In this leadership.
Yeah.
So I'm not just saying just grow, because people can just grow. They can become better ball players. But that's not going to affect us. When I'm talking about growth here, is becoming more mature, getting a bigger picture of life, getting to the essence of what God has called you and made you to be, to accomplish in this very brief period in history. You're just a drop in the bucket. But let that drop make such a splash, such a ripple, that when everything is done and finished, we can look back from heaven one day, right? Sitting on the throne of God, or walking some shore of some distant galaxy to look back and say, yeah, that was the point. We did that.
Right.
Can you imagine how many people on the other side will go, yeah, well, you don't get to do that again. Well, you're going to go, get 2 people to sin again and start this whole thing again? No, it's over.
Yeah.
Who are you going to save now? So that's how I think. That's how we should think in the same.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that idea of leaders constantly growing, and then if they want to grow and invest in the people around them, they have to grow themselves.
Yes.
You can't lead someone, you can't push someone toward growth if you yourself are not growing as a leader. If we have people who are listening to the show or maybe watching the show, and they're like, "Hey, I found myself in a leadership position in my organization, whether it's ministry context or career or something or workplace," and they're like, I can identify areas of myself that I need to grow. What are some first steps that they need to take?
Well, you have to become a student of whatever you want to grow in, okay? So if leadership is very important, just like you've been doing, Ryan, you feel like there's a need among your youth, your teens, even your youth helpers, chaperones, parent volunteers, just volunteers in general, to grow in leadership. What are you doing? You came to me, we talked, and I suggested the John Maxwell program, And we are working towards that right now. Would you want to share a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're working on, through resources from the John Maxwell Foundation, we are working on developing a curriculum that students will be able to go through in small groups at a time. It'll be a several week course that students will go through, and then at the end of it, they will have been trained up as leaders among their peers. They'll have those natural leadership qualities enhanced. And then they'll have an established like certification that they can put behind their name that's going to look really good on things like applications for jobs or scholarships or things of that nature, all while like learning what it means to be a leader among their peers.
Right. Our goal here at Clearview is one day to be a leadership hub, right? Where people can come, pastors, business leaders, community leaders can come and learn the important principles of leadership. So this is one step in that direction, a big step, because we are working towards being certified.
Yep, absolutely. And I think it's going to be something that impacts that group of students, and then once they graduate out, there will be another group of students that comes in. But that doesn't mean that these students that graduated, they're just not leaders anymore. They continue to lead and continue to develop those gifts that they've worked on over the course, and then more and more students are brought in. So we have this idea of like we're churning out more and more leaders that then go and develop other leaders themselves.
And this was part of our strategy plan, right? This is what we worked on for months, not just weeks, months in 2021. And this is part of the outcome. It took us a year, but that's okay. But it's begun. Isn't that interesting to think about?
Yep.
Yeah.
We talked about leading our students to be leaders. Well, now it has begun.
Well, that's kind of what we talked about. I mean, even in the strategy planning, that leadership is intentional. You know, you seek out those students or even those kids. You know, there's not really an age you can start that's too young to at least be identifying how kids and how young people lead their peers, whether they think they're doing it or not, or whether they're cognizant of it. They are doing it. So you as a leader identifying those leaders and then acting on it, I think was kind of that first step. And now we're starting to see the fruits of that.
And in every arena that's represented here in this room, you have to begin to see your volunteers, your students, whatever age group that you're working with the younger children, right? Rebecca and Kelsey. Ryan, Elizabeth, you're working with the teens, students, I would say. And you're working with the praise team, worship team. You're working with the safety team and other capacities. You have to start seeing those people as your students. So you have to grow, and you have to help them grow. If you help them grow, you won't be able to contain the number of kids here on Sunday morning. You won't be able to contain the number of youth coming here on Sunday night. So think in those terms. Worship team, it's not just about songs and we're done with this service. Whew, it's over. Okay. All right. What's next? Next week begins again. You can't think like that. You have to think in the sense of leadership. Who are my leaders? They may not have a position or title, but they are my leaders.
Yeah.
I'm helping them grow. I help them grow. The whole group grows, and you're doing a great job with that.
Thank you. I mean, it's something that has definitely paid off dividends in the long run, where you start to see, and it's just as simple as who has influence. Who, when this person talks, who listens, even if it's not good at first, you still notice that person has influence over other people. Maybe they just have great ideas, but they don't know how to implement them. Or maybe they don't have any ideas, but they can carry out a task super well, and other people want to be like that good or that talented. And then pouring into those people, like you said, has made it to where people get excited. You know what I mean?
Yes.
They get excited because now they want to be that high performing as well.
When you're pouring into people on your team, or you're even trying to grow yourself as a leader so that you can help other people grow, I mean, what is a good a good measure of? Because I know we've talked about this in like the Growth versus Goals podcast. I don't remember which episode that was, but we talked about it.
Yeah, it was in the 90s.
Yeah. Like, what is a good measure? Like, how can you look and see? Okay, I see how I've grown from here to here. You know, because obviously, I guess when you're that close to it, sometimes you can't see it. When you get farther away from it, you're like, okay, yeah, I definitely see how this made me grow. So are there any like practical ways to measure week to week, month to month?
To me, let me just go with the principle first, and then we can talk about, levels of growth and whatnot. Principle would be, how much does this place, I'm just talking about in the context of Clearview
Right.
staff.
Right.
how much does what happens here matters to you? How much does the vision for the future, the goal that we have set up of building a strong, viable, vital ministry that's going to impact the world matter to you? So in every day, are you just there, or do you care about that?
Yeah.
Are you like check mark person, or are you thinking about the bigger picture? That to me says a lot. Okay, so that's what I look for in people. Are they getting the big picture? Are they getting the big vision of what we're trying to do from this little church in a little town, touching the world? So everything we do with excellence. Everything we do not just for accomplish this event. Okay, it's over. Let's move on. No. Okay, so now we have reached this many people. Next time we're going this big, or this big, whatever. So I like to see how that person thinks about what's happening here. That to me is a measure. Maybe I don't know. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I can see that. I'm still kind of foggy on like how to measure it, but I understand what you're saying about the mindset.
Well, can everybody be a leader, or are there some people that were just not made to be leaders?
That's kind of what I was thinking about too. Kind of like, what about people who are maybe would consider themselves more meek or more likely to be a follower, but they find themselves in a leadership position for whatever reason? Like,
Right.
what about people that are kind of
I think
along
it
those
can be.
lines?
I was that way. I had no desire to be a leader. Never. It's not in me. It wasn't naturally. It was something that I had to I don't want to say force myself, but I had to convince myself to care. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had to convince myself to be intentional about it because it's kind of like you're saying, I loved this place. I loved being here. I wanted to raise my family here. So it wasn't something that I could be complacent or just say, I'll let someone else do it. It was like no one, like, to be part of it and to be growing this place, I have to care about these
Right.
things.
Well, you hear people say, in order to have good leaders, you have to have good followers. So what does that mean? Is there any truth to that? Like, you know?
That's a good point. Let me back up first to what they're talking about, because there's a debate out there, and the debate is this: are leaders born or are they made? And I've heard from a lot of people very interesting, strong points on leaders are born, and I think to some extent, yeah, there are some leaders who are just born leaders. You know, they just have that mentality, that personality that is a go-getter, and the vision and the drive and all that stuff, or their upbringing has helped them. But I also believe, and I believe probably I lean on this side more, that yes, you can train people. Will they all reach that level of maturity that is like, man, that is an amazing leader? It all comes down to how much are they willing to put into it.
I mean, technically, we're all leaders, but we're also really good followers.
Right.
So
right.
we're leaders in certain situations, but we're also really good followers in certain
Right.
situations.
Well, leaders should be. Leaders should also know how to follow.
Yeah, I think it depends on the circumstance, because, you know, if I'm doing something like with safety team, I can take lead, but also I know that the people on that team are a lot more experienced than me in that area. So I'm in certain situations I might have to follow. Also with youth, I don't know anything about how to deal with youth. I'm not good with kids. And when it comes to that, it's like, okay, you tell me what to do and I will be the first person to do it for you.
Yeah.
But throw me into a leadership role, I'll do my best, but I'm nowhere near as good as Ryan or, you know, with kids like Rebecca and Kelsey.
Well, I think it can work even in, like you were saying, in your safety. It can even work within your department. I mean, I have a guy who comes in, very good friend, and he coaches me. And I mean, there are some times where he'll suggest things, or he'll say, "Hey, it should be this way." I could just be like, "No, I call the shots. I don't like it." But I follow his lead, even if he's not the leader. He still is leading me, and he's still guiding me because he's an expert. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
I have people like that in my life who coach me, who mentor me, who guide me. If I get into a sticky situation, I'll call them up and say, "Hey, I don't know how to handle this one.
Yeah.
I feel like I should do this, but then I see what may happen here. If I go this way, I can see how this can impact things. You know my heart. You know where I'm trying to go. You know what we're trying to do here. What do you think?" And thank God for those people in my life.
I think it kind of goes back to what we were talking about at the very beginning too, about how as to be a good leader, you have to be willing to grow yourself in order to then grow other people.
Right.
So being able to reach out to other people and find other people that you can then follow is a part of that.
Right. And so, but then you had a second question, kind of a second half of that question, which was,
So you hear things, you hear the saying where in order to have good leaders, you have to have good followers. Is that true, or is that just a myth, or do those followers also have to be leaders, or how does that work?
in order to be a good leader, you have to have good followers. I see a very strong point there, but it kind of it's like a almost like a never-ending circle there, because then if you want to be a good leader, make them good followers.
Yeah.
And then good followers will help you to be a good leader, and good leader will make good followers. I think it'll just goes
But in order to
on
be a
and
good
on.
follower, I think you have to be a good leader.
Yeah.
So it's just a constant.
You just gotta.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think your followers detract from their own leadership. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think having good followers means get them on your side. Show them that you're worth following.
Yeah.
Rather than you always have to have followers who will never be leaders themselves. I don't know if that's what that's.
I also think that there are different degrees of followers, though, because, I mean, if you think about it, you could have the passive followers who don't really do anything for you or anything for anyone. They just kind of do for themselves, but they
Right.
follow whatever somebody tells them to do.
Right.
But you also have followers, like we have people here at Clearview, who they follow the lead of the leadership, but they also, when they see something that needs to be done, they do take ownership of that, and they lead through that. So
Yeah.
I think it just depends on the degree of the follower that you have.
Yeah. And I mean, I think at the end of the day, you can't control your followers. You inspire them and you kind of, get them on your side, but you can't control the type of follower that they are. So then what you can control is the type of leader that you are. So you have to develop yourself as a leader that then inspires good followers.
That's true.
Great stuff on leadership, guys. Man, that's such a great discussion. If you guys have questions about leadership, developing yourself as a leader, how to develop your followers, send us an email to carpemanana@clearviewbc.org. We'd love to suggest some resources for you, let you know what's worked for us, and maybe give you some advice for your context. You guys want to go into our last segment?
Yes,
All right.
dude.
All right, guys, for the last segment of the show this week, we have a very special segment with it being in honor of Tuesday, 22, however many twos there are.
Yeah.
We have brought in two of our favorite things. Rebecca, what was the name of the segment? You had the name of the segment.
I want to say it.
Okay.
No.
No.
Someone say the name of the segment.
It's two of our favorite things.
These are
These
two of
are
our
two
favorite
of
things.
our
No,
favorite things.
two of our favorite things.
That's what I just said. These are two of my favorite things.
That's the tune.
Anyway,
Okay,
we're going to
thank
go
you,
around the
Julie
circle and
Andrews.
share two of our favorite things with you guys, with each other and with you guys. Two of our favorite things. Who wants to start?
I'll start.
Okay.
Okay, shoot.
So the first one, being the first one, I kind of have to cheat a little bit because I have three things.
No.
But they all-
No.
All right. My
told
wife
you.
is getting booted out.
I told you.
My son.
Aww,
My son. I
he
was.
is very cute.
I also have
Get it
a
on the
cup.
camera. Where's the camera?
Get closer.
Right there,
Get closer.
right there.
Very
get there.
cute.
Here, I'll help you. Here you go, folks.
There you go.
Aw,
He's so
Cutie.
cute.
So cute.
I don't have autofocus turned on.
We love Gavin.
There he is. That's my cute son.
That's
He's very blurry.
It's not gonna autofocus. That's the first one. I had a cup with him on it, with my wife on it too, but she got booted out. She just got voted off. So
Excuse you.
so sorry, babe. The other one is my Amazing Spider-Man #1, signed by Stan Lee.
Very
Cool.
nice.
I went
So
to
whoa, wait,
Boston Comic-Con.
Very nice.
So
Wow.
this takes precedence of your wife.
That's what you said, yeah.
100%.
Yeah, that was your decision. I got. So this is not the. This is the original 1960s
Wow.
run, but
So
it's in the
cool.
Marvel Masterworks anthology. So it's not like it's like preserved mint. I mean, you can pick this up at Barnes and Noble, which I did, but it's got the original
But-
60s comics in it.
What you can't pick up at Barnes and
Volumes
Noble
1
is-
through 9, but you cannot pick that up.
You
at
can't
Barnes
pick
and
that
Noble.
up at
So
Barnes and
cool.
Noble.
And he's gone, so you know that this is the only one I've got.
Man.
So that's it.
That's
That's
awesome.
pretty
I
cool.
usually keep it in a shadow box above my desk, but I took it out for the day.
Just for you guys.
It
You're
has not
welcome.
seen the light of air since
So sorry.
2017.
So sorry to Ellie.
Sorry, Ellie.
I love you, Ellie.
Love you, but you couldn't make it on the show.
She's kind of associated with those because I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
with
that's
Gavin.
true.
Sure.
Here's the little cup with her on it.
Yeah. And then
There
she
she
went
is.
with you to get that signed.
She did.
So that's
Yeah, she did.
memories.
She got a poster signed.
right. Sure.
Cool. Which
Dave, you wanna
direction?
go next?
Okay,
Let's
I'll
go
go
next.
next.
Go on this
Okay.
one.
You can go next.
I'll be last.
Oh shoot. Okay. So my favorite things I didn't realize until I pulled into the office. It makes me look like Indiana Jones. Is this hat that I got from Arizona,
Nice.
and then this chalice grail that I got from Israel on my first
You
time.
do look like
going
Indiana
around.
yeah.
So,
Is that the
You got the Holy Grail.
it's not the Holy Grail.
I never
Um,
actually saw Last Crusade.
But you got this at
Israel.
Bethlehem.
Yeah. It was Jordan River.
Jordan River.
Jordan River.
Yes.
Um,
yes,
Nice.
yes.
I got this at the Jordan River.
Not that it was inside. Let me just clarify. Where's the camera?
Yeah.
It was not. He didn't dive into the Jordan River.
We plugged that
It was
from
at
the Jordan River.
swimming.
So
It was in like a
Deep-
hidden cave.
It was
Yeah.
deep inside the gift shop.
he pried it out of a
Basically-
skeleton's
Basically,
hand.
what happened was I put on this hat that I got 2 years later. I buckled it up and I dove right into the Jordan River.
Perfect.
And
You
this
saw something
was at the
glinting in
bottom.
Pulled
the
it from the
ocean, and
clutches
there it
of a
was.
dead body.
You saw some snakes and your heart kind of seized up, but you were like, I have to do it.
I must.
So
Impressive.
this is just a good memory because I remember like going to get it. We were all trying to get cowboy hats
Yeah.
at Arizona, and then this it just reminds me of my first trip to Israel, and I remember being very conflicted about whether I should buy it because it was a little bit of money, and then I was like, well, I may not ever come back here again.
Is it solid?
I mean,
Is it solid? Can I feel it?
it's not like I don't think it's real
Ooh,
like
solid.
stuff.
I already felt it.
Wow.
So
But he came and asked me. Do you remember that?
I do.
Asking me, like, what do you think? At first, I was like, not. No, there is no such chalice out there. There's not a historical replica. And all these things went through my head, and I was like, don't talk. Just let him have it. This is his day. I was like, so I said, oh, that's a good one. I would get it.
Jesus probably drank out of that.
I think you
That very
found
one.
something.
I think
Found
I
it.
found
This
the one.
gift shop had
The
like
one.
the one.
It had
Archaeological
the
dig.
one. If I rub it,
A genie will come
olives
out.
come out.
I think we're mixing our stories.
Conflicting traditions here.
So
That's hilarious.
yeah, so
That's
those
pretty
are,
awesome.
Those are
Yeah.
my two favorite things.
Very nice.
Thank you,
Nice.
Indiana Jones.
Well, I have, to go along with John, I have a picture of my kids.
Yeah.
As one of my favorite things. So there's all five, and that's one of the most recent pictures of
I'm
them
gonna
from-
superimpose it. I'm gonna
Abigail and
superimpose it
Jared's
right
wedding.
here on the screen so
That
y'all
is
can see
all
it.
five of the kiddos looking sharp.
Yeah.
Looking
Where's
sharp.
Elizabeth?
She is not in that. She's probably taking the
Oh,
picture.
that's at Abigail's wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah, cute.
She is not in that picture, but she is in a way.
Just
Because
to
you
let
can see it reflected.
People
in
know, ladies know, there are two men
we
went for the kids.
Listen, I
We
tried.
did.
I
The
tried. I
person
got
who helped
rejected
them have
hard.
them.
Yes.
They did not include them.
we did not include our wives in that.
I
One
tried.
chose
But
a
it'll-
comic book and one chose what? Over
No,
their
you
wife?
saw.
A board game. So the explanation behind this is that
You play it with your wife.
Well, hold on.
Okay.
So Elizabeth and I were on a cruise to the Bahamas years ago, 4 kids, before kids, and the weather was terrible. We sailed through like many consecutive storms. We missed a port of call. It was terrible weather. She was seasick, and I was like, well, let's get our mind off of how bad the boat is like rocking back and forth. So we went into like this little library area, and they had a board game on there called Dominion. We never heard of it before. I was like, okay, cool, let's play it. And she was furious with me because she felt terrible. She felt like, she was like, I'm going to throw up and you're making me read all these rules and instructions on how to play. Well, as a result of that, this has become one of our favorite games, and we found it in stores. It's got like several different expansions, and one of the things that we love doing together is we love playing board games, card games. That's just a way we love to spend time
Nice.
together. So
Yeah,
this
cool.
one especially has a very special memory associated with it.
Very nice. Dr. Shaw.
Oh, me. Okay.
All right, let's see if he gets it right. He's another
Let's
married
see,
man
let's
in this
see.
room. Let's see if he gets it right.
You know I will.
I tried to get it right. You wouldn't let me.
Can't have 3 things on Tuesday.
I didn't even try.
So, my turn.
I didn't try it.
My turn.
Yes.
Thank you, please. Okay. All right, so this is my first one. This is, I know it looks like a Bible, just ordinary old Bible, but that's not the case. This was my first Bible.
Ooh.
So
Nice.
this is, the year is 1985. Now, of course, I need to back up. I had a Bible prior to this one, and but this was the one. In 1985, we had a lot of missionary. This entire group of missionaries came through our our home, stayed in our church for like a month and a half, 2 months. It was a team of missionaries, young people, and they were selling books. They were selling Bibles. If you ever heard of Operation Mobilization, OM, well, they were the ones. My dad worked with them a lot. So they had this Bible on the shelf, on the book rack, and I would go by there, look at it every day. I would look through because it had pictures in it. So many pictures. I don't know if you can see it. Pictures everywhere, all throughout, and I would be like just looking at it, and unbeknownst to me, my dad was watching me looking at that Bible, and I put it back down, look at it, put it back down, and he went and bought it. And when the whole team left, I was like, oh well, didn't get the Bible.
Yeah.
It's okay. That was a little sad. The next thing I know, on 10/13, which is my birthday, 1985. This
Wow,
was given
that's
to
awesome.
me.
That is really cool.
So that was my Bible.
Oh,
And I used to collect stamps. That's another story for another time.
Hey, let me zoom in on this.
Cool.
So that's a whole different story. I lost my stamp collection. Somebody stole it from me. So I'm going to start collecting Christian stamps.
Oh,
These are my Christian stamp collection.
in your Bible.
I put it in my Bible because it's like,
pretty
you
cool.
want to steal something? Steal the Bible. Yeah. I had like 500-600 stamps from all over the world.
man.
Old stamps, new stamps, and somebody stole it.
That's
Golly.
crazy.
So
Goodness.
that's one, and it just sits in my library. I even put the plastic cover on and all that.
Nice.
Wow.
That's awesome.
The second is I couldn't get it on my camera on the photo frame. Is this? Can you guys see this?
Oh,
Who is that?
Oh, yeah.
Everybody. Our entire team. Who's that guy? David?
Yeah, the edge.
I'll keep it like this. That's better. Let's see. There it is. That's David
wow.
right there.
Yeah.
So, our entire team. There's David. There's, of course, our family. There's Ryan and his family. There's Kelsey and Chloe right up in the front. John, Ellie, their family. Abigail, Jared, Ed, Rebecca. At where?
The Grand Canyon.
Canyon. One of my favorite pictures.
Wow.
Wow.
That hat that I'm wearing and that got busted up. Somebody stepped right on it. I remember
I
that.
remember that.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
in the van. So
Yeah.
I remember that.
It was in the, I remember putting it on and like the whole top part was gone.
Some stranger stepped on it?
No, I think it was
I
one
think
of my
it was-
kids.
Oh,
I think it was one of my kids. It was like,
that's pretty funny.
That was funny.
All right.
All right. So I'll go. This is a copy of my favorite book. This is the 1940s edition of Pride and Prejudice by
Wow.
Jane
Wow.
Austen. It's one of my absolute favorite stories. It was a play that I was in high school as well, so it's near and dear to my heart. But it's just, I don't know, it's a sweet romance, but it's funny, it's clever. I really like it.
Yeah.
So, and
She's
it's-
got too much pride. He's got too much pride. It just works.
yeah.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
right. That's right. It just works.
One of my favorite editions is the British one
Uh-huh.
with what's the famous actor Colin?
Farrell?
No.
Colin Firth?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the one was my favorite.
Mhm.
Nice.
Yep.
Very cool.
And then next, everyone else has been showing their family. We would be remiss if we didn't have a picture of Chloe up in here. This is Chloe. This is my favorite. Let's see.
Focus.
There she
is.
yay. Sweet little smile.
Show them what you were going to do.
Oh, my other one.
Yeah, show what you were actually
The other one.
gonna do.
So what I was gonna do before everybody else started showing their family and I started feeling self-conscious having not picked that first was show my candies.
Nerds. Gummy
Yeah,
cluster.
I like
Yeah.
those.
These are my
nerds.
favorite candy. These are gummy cluster nerds. So it's
Oh,
like
how
nerds
cool.
ropes, but like the little bites of them, they are
Nice.
delicious and
Chloe
wonderful.
candy.
Chloe candy. Chloe won.
Yeah.
She won.
May as
She
well.
won the
She did
battle.
win.
Barely.
Important at the end
She
of the
did
day.
win.
Somewhere
It was
Chloe
close.
just felt really happy.
Yeah.
I got
Thanks, Mom. You picked me.
All right, Rebecca, what's your
All right,
favorite
Rebecca.
thing?
All right, so this is my blanket, and I love it. But it's my favorite blanket because I keep it in the office because you guys like to keep the office very, very cold.
30 degrees
So this
year
is my
round.
favorite blanket, and I keep it like at my desk. And funny thing is, it used to be an electric blanket, still has a wire going through it. But I had to use it in here so much that I had David cut off the cord.
Yeah.
So
Really?
It's gone.
I had to
Yeah,
cut
the
I didn't know
cord-
that.
There's still like a little.
Why couldn't
thing.
you keep the cords and plug them up and sit there with the electric blanket?
It didn't work.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I got a haircut in the office one time, and Gerald tried to use that like as a cape,
the cape?
to put the thing on, and I was like, oh man, I don't want to do that. He's like, oh, I think it'll be all right. So I was
And you
like,
did it
I was like,
anyway.
all right, shoot,
Okay.
if you think it'll be all right,
I
we'll do
made him
it.
take it home and wash it.
Yeah, I had to take it home and wash it.
and that pretty much did it.
That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It ruined it.
Oh,
it was.
well, that did not
It wasn't
end
me.
well.
I shouldn't have called him out by name. Somebody tried to use it. Someone who cuts my
Someone.
hair.
But anyway, so David had to cut the cord off because it stopped working because he washed it.
You made me wash it.
But anyway, so my second favorite thing, so blanket is number one. My second favorite thing is my ring.
Ooh,
Yay.
look at
And
that.
I don't know if you can see it.
Here, I can zoom in. Hold on one second.
Look at that bling.
Bling it up.
Bling it up.
Ooh.
I'm
I'm blind.
engaged to this hunk right there. Whoa.
Nice neck.
That's me. Right there.
Hey, there he is.
Yeah. Oh, look at it. There you go. Perfect.
Very
Perfect.
nice.
That's awesome.
Do you want to show what you were going to
That's
show?
awesome. Something
The
that's found in
original
a,
thing
The original thing.
was water because I really love water. But
Hydration is important.
yeah.
bed
Luckily, we
one.
talked her out of doing the water.
Yeah.
Because it is found where, John?
In toilets and puddles. I was like, you've got a diamond on your finger, and you're going to show your plastic water bottle?
Well.
All right. I don't want to gatekeep nobody's favorite things, but come on, gang. We got a show to do.
She's got to carry the water. The water is
That's
external
true.
to her, but the ring
Yeah.
has become a part of her now.
Really
That's
does.
what-
Yes.
Ooh.
That's what it is. That's the rationale. that I-
Dr. Love.
Just that. That's the rationale. I just spun real quick, I guess. I don't know. Well, guys, let's do this. Since it's Tuesday, send us an email with two of your favorite things. We wanna
Yes,
hear from
please.
you
We'll
guys.
shout 'em out next
Two of
week.
your favorite things. We'll shout them out on
with
next
a
week's
two of your
episode.
favorite.
With a
things.
two
With,
of your
with a
favorite
two of
things.
your favorite things. Send us an
Hashtag
email
Julie
to
Andrews.
carpemanana@clearviewbc.org. Make sure you guys are following. Make sure you're subscribed on all the different platforms. And we'll see you next time on Carpe Manana.